Yeah, let the big dog hunt. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Kallas Remarks with your host Joe Staszak, my man right there, Steve Kallas, heading into the All-Star break, my friend. How you doing?
Oh, good, Joe. Great to be with you as always.
You too. We've been kind of following this catcher from Seattle, Raleigh, Cal Raleigh, and you made me laugh right before we went on the air because this is his fifth year. 38 home runs ahead of the All-Star break. Still has two games left. Barry Bonds has the record right now, if you count it, in 2001 with 39. And you just said he signed a 6-year extension before the season for like $105 million, which for me, I'll take that. But we'll get into what some of the Oklahoma City boys are walking around with now. That's
Yeah.
stupid money. Like you said, if Seattle has some class, they'll rip that up because Cal Raleigh is a switch hitting catcher. You don't see too many of them, but he is just killing it right now. Two last night.
Unbelievable. I mean, look, he's been in the league, as you said, he's had 30 home runs once or twice, maybe,
Twice
but the
before,
switch
yeah.
hitting catcher is kind of unheard of to begin with. I personally think his 38 home runs before the All-Star break is already the record. They say Bonds in 2001, 39. Again, Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he ever took a steroid. Read that book that was written about it. I don't think there's any doubt about anything with him.
He already had
Uh,
three
I,
MVPs.
I look at all those, right, automatic. Everybody with three MVPs is in the Hall of Fame. But Sosa, McGuire, I know it's far in the past now, but to me, even at the time, when once everything came out, these guys shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame and they shouldn't have these kinds of records. Although you can make a case for Bonds before he ever took one, if he took one in 1998, which supposedly he was mad because of what Sosa and McGuire were doing.
Actually, I think that was the year Sosa McGuire, and then 2 years later, 2 or 3 years later, Bonds hit the 73, which is
Became Bonds, yeah. But
breaking
yeah,
McGuire's 70.
he was such a good player. And I'll also point out, Babe Ruth never really had that by the All-Star break until 1933. So he had 59 one year when, he had more than teams. He had 60 in 1927. He had 54 in another year. So I'd like to go see what he had, but there was no All-Star break. Again, to
Mhm.
me, you gotta say these things. Babe Ruth had he played in the first All-Star game. In fact, he hit the first All-Star home run, but it was 1933. He only had a year or two left in his career, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. And Cal Raleigh has two more games, by the way, before the
Yeah.
All-Star break. So in theory, he could tie or break Barry Bonds' record. The guy on Sports Center, I forget which one it was, said, oh, his legendary season. Well, I guess it was a legendary season, but and
Mhm.
I don't want to go down that road now, but go read Game of Shadows, the paperback edition, if you think there's any doubt about Barry Bonds. But in any event, Cal Raleigh, switch hitter, 8 multi-home run games by the All-Star break, ties Reggie Jackson's record in 1969. So those two guys are up there by themselves. And the other record was um, what we just talked about with home runs before the All-Star break, 39 for Bonds, 38 for Cal Raleigh. But this guy hit two yesterday. I mean, he's just incredible. And oh, by the way, they beat the Tigers 59 and 36, the Tigers, and they beat Tariq Skubal. Um, his record is 0-2 against Seattle with a 5.91 ERA and 10 and 1 against everybody else with a
Mhm.
1.88 ERA. And yesterday he took the loss. Raleigh hit one of his two home runs off of School Bowl. Now, Seattle's only 49 and 45, so I don't know if they're going anywhere. Um, but Cal Raleigh right now, you can make a case for him for MVP. I think you have to at least make the playoffs to be the MVP. But give him a lot of credit. He's an incredible player, power from both sides. Um, and I also want to take a quick look at Cody Bellinger, who had a fascinating game yesterday. Yankees got Bellinger and Goldschmidt, and I think they're two, former MVPs, but everyone thought kind of at the end. But they're both doing pretty well. But Bellinger hit 3 home runs yesterday, and there was a fourth when Tucker climbed the wall in right field. It was after he had two. Tucker climbed the wall in right field and saved a home run. It was going to be a home run, and he caught it. Then the next time up, Bellinger hit his third, and the Yankees beat the Cubs 11-0. The Cubs are 55 and 39. I mean, they got a two-game better record than the Yankees.
Yeah, good squad.
Um, and the other thing in that game, when it was still a game 3-0, Aaron Judge, who is a five-tool player. He doesn't get enough credit as a defensive player, but he climbed the wall to save a home run, literally take it out of the stands. And then he made an incredible catch coming in and leaving his feet to catch like a shoestring, but he left his feet. And then later in the game, that was when it was 3-0, so it was still very meaningful. But later, when the game was maybe out of hand, he made another diving catch down the right field foul line. I mean, three incredible plays. I didn't watch the Sports Center top 10 plays. I should have watched them because I don't know how many they would have given them. They give
Yeah,
three plays and give him number three,
sure.
but whatever. And the Yankees, they were in a big slump. Now they're in a winning streak. They're 53 and 41. But the problem for the Yankees to me is we talked about Cole at the beginning of the year. But Max Fried has kind of taken his place. But now Clark Schmidt, who's a good starting pitcher for them, he needs Tommy John as well. So he's gone for the year. So I think you have two of what you thought were maybe your top three, definitely your top four pitchers, Cole and Schmidt. They're gone for the year. Can the Yankees do it without it? Well, I did see Stanton hit his third homer the other day, a total moonshot. But we'll see how healthy he is for the season. He missed what he missed, like the first, I don't know, 60 games or something. But I'm a Yankee fan, but I don't know that they can get there because a lot of injuries, two Tommy John surgeries. At the end of the game, it's got to be about pitching, right? So
Yeah,
it happens with them. Um, I know the other guy I wanted to talk about.
Paul Skenes.
Yeah, this is why I get the stats on poor Paul Skenes. Again, we've talked this year and last year. How long is he going to last on the Pirates? He
Wonder
pitched.
why he only went 5 innings though last night. I mean, I know he gave up a
Uh,
home run,
I don't know what is the Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I
two
don't
earned runs.
if he wants to pitch in the All-Star game. I know if you pitch Saturday, Sunday, I don't think you can, but he pitched Friday. I wonder if they did that on purpose, but I
Well,
don't
Zach
know.
Wheeler pulled out, and he was, I think, going to be the starter. So maybe that's
Yeah, Skeens yesterday, 5 innings pitched, two earned runs, six strikeouts, no walks, and of course he took the loss in 8 starts since June 1st. 8 starts since June 1st. He's 0 and 3 with a 1.77 ERA.
they don't put up any runs for him. They don't
They
put up any
said
runs
the
for
they
anybody. But
said the last person to do that allow less than or equal to 10 runs and not win. The last time that happened in the 8 starts was in 1893. They didn't give me the name of the pitcher. I would have gone and looked them up. Might have been Cy Young for all we know. But the Twins beat the Pirates 2-1. Again, the Pirates are now 38 and 57. Skeens is 4 and 8 with a 2.01 ERA.
2.01.
That might be some kind of record.
That's
Uh,
silly.
but again, 0 and 3, 1.77 ERA in the last 8 starts. He doesn't have a win. I mean, it's just, I feel bad for the guy. And well, I think it was Scooble who was really frustrated. Skeens wasn't happy. But they took a 1-0 lead, but then he did give up a 2-run homer. But, that takes so much out of you, I think, if you pitch game after game after game
Sure.
really well.
Frustrated.
And I don't know how he stays a Pirate for, 6, 7 years, whatever you have to be now. Um, but, we'll see what happens. But yeah, Skeens and Scooble, they got the Jacob Mizorowski, who we talked about. He got named to the All-Star team as a sub, but he got named with 5 starts. He had those three incredible starts. I think he's 4-1 now. But I think he deserves to be an All-Star. I remember writing during Linsanity with the Knicks.
Deserve the end.
He had only played like a month or something. I wrote an article they should put him in the All-Star game, but they
Unbelievable.
did.
Paul Skeens is like I think Paul Skeens is the Mike Trout of the National League. He's going to be maybe mired in Pittsburgh forever, being one of the great pitchers in the National League, and he's not going anywhere.
Well, the question for the Pirates has to be, they can get so much for him, are they
That's
trying,
what I would do. I would certainly load up for Paul Skeens.
and they can get so much, and somebody will give it to him. But we'll have to see if that happens because he's the number one man for the Pirates now. And I bet when he pitches at home, they get a lot more people in. I'd love to go see him in person. But
He warms up. He warms up for over 2 hours before he either throws a bullpen or pitches in a game. It's
yeah,
like, it's like a new thing they have.
I got one more for you.
Yeah.
Brian Wu, um, who is a pitcher for Seattle, no hit the Yankees for 7 innings on Thursday. Seattle was winning 5-0. He gave up two hits and two earned runs in the seventh. They took him out. Still winning 5-0. Stanton hits a pinch hit 3-run homer, 5-3. Wells drives in 2 runs, 5-5. And then Aaron Judge hits a sac fly to win the game in extra innings. Now, the last 235 games, ESPN gets all the credit for this, of course. The last 235 games, when a team was no hit for 7 innings and down by 5 runs or more, that team is 0 and 235. Now, the Yankees did it last night. The last team to do it were the Pirates in 1977. So that's right before the We Are Family Pirates, right? In
Yeah,
77,
yeah.
had a real good squad. But Brian Wu threw a no-hitter through 7 innings, and he made the All-Star team for Seattle. He's on the All-Star team, so give him a lot of credit. But the Yankees have turned things around the last week. I wrote a thing of they're heading towards 500 because they had gone from like 15 or 18 games over 500 to like seven. But I should have wrote, I don't think so. And now they've won like five in a row. So I apologize for writing that. But, now it might be the Mets who got swept by the Orioles the other day in the doubleheader there. Both of the New York teams have had free falls. And then when they played each other, the Mets took 2 out of 3, last weekend. The other thing, I'll give a shout out to the Red Sox who have now won 8 games in a row. Rafaela hit a walk-off home run yesterday against the Rays. So they're finally over 500. Now, with the Yankees and the Blue Jays at the top, I don't know if they'll come back or the Red Sox can get really hot. Of course, they traded Devers, right, to the Giants. So I think that's a big loss. I know people weren't happy with the way I'm not going to play this. I'm not going to do that. So they just got rid of him. But I don't know if that's going to really help the Red Sox, at least this season. I think not. I think I mentioned Otani hit his 32nd. So even though you got the big bombers, Judge with 34, Otani with 32, it's Cal Raleigh into the All-Star break is going to have the lead in home runs by more than one or two, probably.
Zach Wheeler, like I mentioned of the
Yeah.
Phillies, 9-3 with a 2.17 ERA. He's right behind Skenes. He's pulling out to prioritize rest. He actually retired 27 of 28 batters the other day. Austin Hayes, former Philly, hit him, got him with a solo home run on last Sunday. Could have had, it wasn't the last out, so you can't say like, oh, he was on the verge of a perfect game, but he was pretty close.
Did the Mets miss did the Mets miss Wheeler? Just asking.
Yeah, and Jacob deGrom too, I think a little bit.
Was having a heck of a year for Texas. We talked about it last week. You're right.
He's having a great year, so going to be an interesting finish to the season, my friend. Talk a little NBA. I'm not sure what ticket prices are going to be in Oklahoma City next year, but my goodness, they kind of backed up the truck for SGA, Holmgren, and
Williams, yeah.
JJ Williams.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've ever seen that right, like kind of all piled together, with the contracts they got over 200 million each.
Well, we always talk about how you need a three. You need a big three, and they got a big three who are now signed through the 2030-31 season. SGA got his 4-year supermax extension for 285 million. Again, these are extensions.
Yeah.
So their contracts now are not up to this, but will be pretty soon. Jalen Williams, 5-year rookie max extension up to 287 million, and Holmgren, the third of the bunch, but real good player in his own right. 5 years up to 250 million. So for three guys, $822 million. And again, in the old days, we used to root for the players to get every nickel they can get. Now you can root for the players to get every nickel they can get, but when they get 822 million over this 5 or 6 or 7 year span, it's going to be pretty tough, I think, to go to an OKC game and find it affordable. It's just, again, in the old days, you can go to the bleachers in Yankee Stadium for $1 when the Yankees were the Yankees. And those days are just long gone. But look, at least they won the championship. We talk about the quarterbacks in football, 50
Right.
million a year. None of them have won. None of them have won a championship who have signed in the last couple of years. Lawrence, Dak Prescott gets 60. But at least OKC is one, and they have to be the favorites, I'm guessing, for next year. They're going to have to fill around those three guys, though, and that may not be. I think a few of the younger guys are signed. So they're good for next year. I just don't know when this money kicks in, how they're going to be able to really field top guys off the bench, for example.
No, I agree. It's just and I think they are the favorites as I look it up. Although Indiana before Tyrese Halliburton's
Right.
injury, they were right there neck and neck with them. I'm sure they dropped off a little bit.
Well, I think there might be an opening for the Knicks, actually. I don't know. We talked about the new coach last,
Yeah, Mike Brown.
I hope he's the answer, but again, it's his fourth team, and they're telling us in New York, oh, well, he won 4 rings as a coach, but it was an assistant coach to Popovich and Kerr. So I don't know how much juice he really had in the whole thing. It wasn't like he was a top assistant for rookie coaches or anything. But, we'll see. But again, Tatum has his. He's gone for most of the season next year. Halliburton got his in the playoffs, so he's gone for most of the season. There might be a little room for the Knicks there. Um, I know you brought up Devin Booker before the show because he got a 2-year, 145 million extension, but now makes supermax extension. That now makes him 5 years, $316 million. Uh, so he's making
I
a
mean,
ton.
is that worth it? Like, because they're not winning a championship anytime soon. They just got rid of Kevin Durant, and they weren't even anywhere.
I
So
don't know how.
like Jaylen Brown got Boku bucks like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and then he won a championship. All right, so I'll say that kind of paid off because I thought that was ridiculous money for Jaylen Brown. But like, is that like a good return on your investment, Devin Booker? Who I get it's the going rate, it's what the market will bear, but where are they going?
I don't know how
Does
they're
he
going to
put
win
does
it.
he put butts in the stands? I mean, I mean, he's their centerpiece now with Durant out there, obviously, but
Right.
they need to do some work around him.
I think you're 100% right. And one
That's
other guy I wanted to talk about, I saw an interview with him, which was very brief, but I don't know what podcast he was on. I didn't know the guy was asking the question, but Giannis Antetokounmpo, there's a question, does he want to stay? Does he want to leave? He's been in the league 12 years now, which is kind of hard to believe. One championship. But the Bucks, Middleton was traded, not sure why. Lillard was waived after he tore his ACL. Lopez, I don't know if he signed somewhere else, but he's a free agent. I think he has. Didn't he commit to somewhere else already? Brooke Lopez.
yeah,
But
I think he did.
that Lopez and Middleton were the guy, of course, with Giannis who won a championship. They did ask Giannis flat out, um, "Are you going to be with the Bucks next year?" And he did say, "Probably." Um, but the question is, and this was the ESPN guy said, "Well, the question is, can the Bucks win with what they have now?" And the answer is a resounding no. In my book, I love the Greek Freak. Plus, I'm a Greek, but 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 I was hoping against hope. Actually, my son more than me. He said if the Knicks can get Giannis, they can win a championship.
I
Now,
agree with that. Absolutely.
right, but I don't know if he wants the big city. He loves Milwaukee, apparently. Remember when he signed and everybody thought he was going to go somewhere else to win a championship? He signed a big contract. But now to me, he's like lost in Milwaukee because they've been knocked out the first round the last 3 years
I
now.
I know they got their one, and
Right. So if he says his goal is to win championships, I think Devin Booker's in the wrong place if that's his goal. I think Giannis is in the wrong place if he stays in Milwaukee. And with the way OKC signed these guys, again, the Presti guy, he gets all the credit for this. Um, but they're a factor the next 3, 4 years for sure.
sure they got the nucleus together. Of course, I mean, and I'm not saying they're going to make their run and win 4 more championships because I think it's the seventh year or eighth year that a different team has won the NBA championship. So there's not a lot of dynasties. I think the last one was when Kevin Durant stayed in Golden State. You never know how many, right? He
Right.
won
Yeah.
two. They
MVP.
they won four exactly. I don't know what he was thinking, but he went to Brooklyn for the big three there, and that would they play eight games together or something ridiculous like that. Good stuff, my man. Hey, just FYI, 5 days the Chargers report to camp. So NFL is back. And the Lions, I think rookies report in 4, vets report in 7 because
Hurry. Hurry.
yeah, right. They're playing in the Hall of Fame game, but the Eagles report in 10, so it's not that far off. We have made it almost. Good stuff, my friend. You can catch Steve's stuff on his daily on his Facebook forum page. Speaking of sports with Steve Kallas, also his videos on westchestercountypost.com. And you can find this podcast on YouTube and all the audio outlets as well. And you can follow me at Joe Staszak 975 on Twitter or X. And you can follow me on Instagram at Joe Staszak 4799. Good stuff, my friend. Appreciate you watching, folks. And we'll talk to you next time.
Always a
Thanks
pleasure,
again.
Joe.
You too, bud. Talk to you.